Good day, students. I'm an English teacher of professional college named after Anwar Исмаилов, Бекенова Х.Э. Today we are going to talk about the national musical instruments, and the aim of our lesson to identify specific information to consolidate knowledge about musical instruments, to use a range of target vocabulary and get information about the music of folk musical instruments. And I want to start our lesson with the music quote. Music gives a soul to the universe, wings to the mind, flight to the imagination, and life to everything. And what does music mean for you? Music is a form of art that uses sounds organized in time. Music is also a form of entertainment that puts sounds together in a way that people like, find interesting, or dance. Music is the soul of people embodied in elegant rows of notes and bars. It's international language comprehensible to anybody called to erase borders between people and countries. We know that Kazakh ethnos is a carrier of rich culture and ancient history, and music plays an important life in their everyday life. It's a reflection of the spiritual world, its inspirations, restless sound of dombra, picture endless Kazakh step, or frisky run of the bay horse. Melodic song of Akun build a firm connection between the past and present. Kazakh traditional music can be divided into two genres, instrumental and vocal. Instrumental music is called key and performed by soloists using traditional musical instruments like dombra, kobas. And there are a lot of famous key composers as Kurman Mazadina, David Kere, and Tibet. Vocal music is the music intended for singing. And today we'll consolidate our knowledge about some of these instruments. Dombra is probably the most popular Kazakh musical instruments. Dombra is made of hollow wood and wooden part and two strings. 19 and sometimes 22 keys are attached to the neck. Next instrument is kobas. Kobas is a bowstring instrument, mainly used in religious and magical rituals by Bakshi, as well as folk singers. Kobas served as the means of communication with spirits. Imitation of nature sounds are characteristic to kobas cues. Howling of wolves, cry of swans, a running horse, the sound of released arrow. Kobas is believed to be the most ancient of the bowstring instruments in the world. Kobas is a tongue folk instrument. It refers to sounding reed musical instrument. To play kobas, it should be pressed against the one teeth and lips, and the oral cavity serves as a resonator. And by changing the articulation of the mouth and breathing, makes it possible to change the tone of quality of this instrument. Jetigen is an ancient Kazakh and Turk stringed musical instrument resembling a wine harp. Classical jetigen has 7 strings, but modern ones have 15 strings. The most ancient type of jetigen was a oblong box carved from a piece of wood. On this jetigen there were no upper deck or tuner. The strings were stretched by hand from the outside of the tool. Later jetigen's upper part was covered with wooden deck. Next musical instrument, shortet, is a stringed instrument. It's also played like dombra, but the bone is less than dombra, and it looks like a kobas. It's made of wood, but the exterior is covered with skin. The upas is a Kazakh National percussion instrument. It's a musical instrument with a very strong, loud sound. It's served in the past to military signals, such as an attack signal. Loud sound of percussion instruments were also used to invite people to hunting or to perform religious rites, and also the upcoming migrations. Another instrument is kongro. It's a musical instrument that's made of gold and silver. The structure is close to the bell. Bells of different size are distributed on the wooden base and when stressed produce an enjoyable ringing. Atauы is an ancient Kazakh and Turk percussion instrument. The shape resembles a stick with a flat head, decorated with ornaments and hanging metal rings. Atauы has an open and sharp sound. When shaking the instrument, bells give additional metallic ringing sound. And how do you think where we can see all of these instruments? Yeah, of course. In the Kazakh Museum of Folk Instruments, which is situated in Almaty, and I want you to make a short trip to this museum.
A blue roof with a dome that extends upwards. The majestic palace with a certain grandeur attracts our attention. It is like a Han's luxurious palace that spans the distance that a horse can run. This is the Yerkalas Dukenali Museum of the National Instruments. The museum was built in the 1980s. The academic Ozbekali Janibekov initiated the building of the complex. The wooden house made of the mountain fir tree is pleasant to look at. Its ornaments and patterns are in the shape of a crescent. It abounds with national carvings. The museum houses a collection of 40 types of musical instruments played by the national musicians and singers, kubi players and jir singers. There are several samples of every instrument. The museum is divided into 7 big rooms, and each of them contains a rich heritage of our nation. The museum has got rich resources. Every room contains the national relics which recall the melodies of ancient history. The first room is archaeological. This precious heritage has many fossils left under 7 layers of the ground. The second room is for the wind instruments, and the third one has got a collection of percussion and noise-tinkling instruments. There is also a row of plucked instruments in the 4th room. The 5th room is full of one-string and many-string plucked instruments. The 6th room has got relics of the related Turkic nations, and the last room contains relics of the other world national musical instruments. There are also fossil instruments found in the Kazakh steppe. They were found in high and rough goat-like stones, and some relics were even excavated under the ground. This heritage is more valuable than gold. In the museum, you can see that the Kazakh musical culture was a very high one and a very rich heritage. You feel like every instrument has its own written history and destiny. They are of course worn out, but they remain valuable. There is a number of types of melodic instruments with tunes not spoiled by the decades of centuries. The nomadic Kazakh people took domestic musical instruments from nature. They returned to nature the instruments that are made from natural materials. For example, the museum has got ancient instruments called the Sayram and the Bugashuk. Both of them were taken from nature and used for nature. For example, the Sayram was used to call a bird for taming, and the Bugashuk was used to call a morel or a deer. And in the next room, more types of ancient instruments are exposed.
From this video, we can say that it's a very good museum to visit. We know that Mozart was a genius in Europe, but in Asia we have our own Mozart, it's Dina. It's known that Dina took the dobra as she learned to hold something at the age of 4, and she played and picked up melodies. At the age of 9, she already highly adapted to playing favorite instrument of step and tapped in public. In the biography of Mozart, his father played a key role, and in Dina's fate, Dina's father Kenji played a key role too. And Mozart was taught by best masters. Dina was taught by Kazakh steppes Beethoven, Kurmangazy. Here we have some musical instruments which has a resemblance with the instruments of other countries. Kolbas looks like a violin, dangra looks like a drum, dumbra looks like guitar, and sabizva looks like a flute. I hope that from our today's lesson you got a lot of information.